So how many of you like to swim? Me. I like to swim. All right. What about fishing? Yeah? You guys like to fish quite a bit? You do some fishing around here? Yeah? What about drinking clean water? Is that important to you? That's like kind of a no-brainer, right? So that's what we do. That's what we work on every single day, is to keep Lake Pend Oreille and all the waters around here swimmable, fishable, and drinkable. What do you think about, when you think about the critters that live in the lake, what's the first thing that comes to mind? In the hat back there.
Fish.
Yeah, fish. Do you think there's anything smaller than fish that live in the lake? Yeah.
In the lake?
Mm-hmm. So they're probably the biggest thing, right? We don't have like manatees or whales or anything like that. Not that I'm aware of. There could be, but I've never seen any, right? So fish are probably the biggest thing that's swimming around in the lake, right? So there's probably some smaller things. What do you think? Let's go the opposite direction. What's the smallest thing you can think of? Things that you can't see without a microscope. Have you guys heard the word plankton before? Yeah. So there's two types of plankton that are really important in our lake. The little tiny floating plants are called phytoplankton, okay? And then there's little tiny floating animals, and they're called zooplankton. So if we imagine what's smallest to largest of the things that we just discussed, of things that are floating in our water column, it would be bacteria, then the phytoplankton, and then the zooplankton are a little bit bigger. They're eating the phytoplankton, okay? And then you'd have little fish, and then you'd have big fish, right? Have we added everything that we talked about? No? What am I missing? We talked about all the things that float in the water column or swim, right? We have our bottom dweller representative, single representative, and we have our plants, right? So is that everything we were talking about earlier? Okay, so do you think that this represents a healthy lake at this point? If you were little tiny miniature human beings, would you like to swim in it? I think it's pretty healthy. It's got everything we talked about. So we're good to go right now. So what's pollution? Who can tell me like what they think pollution is? Someone I haven't heard of. How about you? Yeah.
When trash and all that stuff gets in the water.
Can you see what's happening?
It's going down.
Great. It's just gonna be okay. They're used to it. They're troopers, thank you. So what does that mean? So we think of pollution, do you think it floats all the time? No, there's some types of pollution that sinks. So if it's heavier than water, if it's a pollutant, what's it gonna do? It's gonna sink. But so now that we have some pollution in here, what do you think? Like all that hard work we did to build a healthy lake is kind of ruined, right? Mm-hmm. Right, so go ahead.
Hurting the lake.
It's hurting the lake, yeah. So if you were a little tiny human being and you could like springboard dive off into here, would you want to do that now? No. So the first thing you're gonna do is find this bottle in your kit. Okay, so the first person is gonna open the water bottle. You should each have a water bottle, right? Okay. So if you look closely on this vial, you'll see that it's frosted at the top. So you're gonna fill up your vial to the top of that frosted line. Okay, so this next step is called the tilt and plunge, and you will be doing this several times throughout the experiment. So remember, it's perfect that we're outside instead of the classroom for this. You're gonna tilt your bottle like 45-degree angle. It's okay if some of the water spills out, right? And then you're gonna plunge the stopper in. Water's gonna come out, and that's okay, all right? After you've done that, you're gonna pass it to your neighbor. Okay, so now you're going to do the scientist shake, okay? This is something else you're going to do numerous times, so pay attention, okay? So scientist shake isn't like doing this. It's Very deliberate, right? So I want you to do this all the way upside down and back 10 times. So this is the grand finale. This is where people need to be good listeners and work together, okay? First, very most important rule is you don't touch the bottom of this to this vial. You're gonna hover it above. That's so we don't contaminate the rest of the bottle, okay? Because this is kind of dirty, right? What you're gonna do is you're gonna add one drop at a time, not touching the dropper to the bottle. Don't do it yet. Listen, not done yet. So this is what that looks like. Up here, one drop. You're gonna give it a little zhuzh, like that, right? Okay, listen guys. And you're gonna do that alternating, one drop, little shake, one drop, little shake, and you're gonna count how many drops it takes for this to go clear. Okay, so what's your number?
4 and 10.
4 and 10.
9.
9,
4.
6, 4. So typically, this is just tap water, right? And it's room temperature. So in the winter when we do this experiment, the tap water is really cold. And so it's usually 10 drops. You know what 10 means, or this number means? It means milligrams per liter of oxygen, okay? And so I would say that the people that got 9 and 10 are closest. When you see numbers that drop below 6, like if I were to collect water from here and do this same test, if things drop below 6, that's when we start to get really concerned because there's not enough oxygen in the water. And if we actually saw a 4, it'd be really, really bad. Probably there would be no fish in that water because they'd be suffocated. But that's what those drops mean.